Hi, my name is Lisa Naughton. I'm a speech language pathologist, also known as an SLP, in the Waterbury Public School System. I have been working here for 28 years. I also am a resident of Waterbury, and so the community is important to me. My passion is my students and my community, and really having them have access to quality speech language pathology services. In my time in Waterbury, I've seen practice change. My own caseload has changed from being 47 when I began to currently 65. I also have seen my department change from being made up of 40 clinicians to presently having 25 with some support from agency personnel. As a doctoral student at MGHIHP, I am currently beginning my capstone project, and I am working on extending services for speech language pathology by utilization of speech language pathology assistants, also referred to as SLPAs. I wanted to mention that in Connecticut, ASHA, our American Speech Hearing Association, has recently reported that the average caseload here is 39. As you've heard, that's not my average. A recent study by the Wheelock Educational Policy Center reports that the caseload numbers are different for districts in what they call alliance districts, which are the more the districts in the state that are poorly performing. Generally speaking, they're the inner cities. They're the districts who have diverse communities with increased special ed populations and multiple other factors involving poverty and equity issues. Unfortunately, within these districts, lots of different teachers are not available, including speech language pathologists. In these districts, like me in Waterbury, clinicians have an increased caseload, and there's also a shortage. That is what I'm seeing right now. In my district, there are lots of students who do not have any access to speech language pathology services because we simply do not have the personnel. So let's talk about what an SLPA is. That is a speech language pathology assistant. It's a person who has gotten education in communication sciences at either an associate's or a bachelor's level and has some clinical experience. Unfortunately, licensure, it varies across states. Currently, Connecticut does not have licensure for this field. ASHA has recently instituted, as of 2020, a certification process for SLPAs through ASHA, so it is possible now for people to get a national licensure. This means to me that it's a great time to really look at this field and how it might impact our practice and get access to services for our students. The role of an SLP is directive in that they must work under someone. So an SLPA must have an SLP assigned, and they are working under the license of that SLP. So to me, it seems essential that we should understand the perspectives of SLPs so that we can implement SLPAs effectively. Currently, there is not a lot of research on this. There is one study from the United States looking at the perception of SLPs that currently have SLPAs, and they have found that these clinicians felt that SLPAs had a positive impact upon the service delivery for their students. Alternately, two researches projects in 2013 and 2017 within Australia reported mixed thoughts on the use of SLPAs. The licensure and the use of SLPAs in Australia is very different, so it's hard to make a real clear connection about what that means here in the United States. There are currently no studies, particularly about Connecticut, about the SLP perspectives of clinicians, or about current SLPA practices. I believe that learning about current practices and perceptions may inform practice and provide evidence to advocate for state licensure. Research to address SLP implementation might include surveys or interviews in Connecticut and possibly in Massachusetts, a neighboring state that does have licensure for SLPAs. An accompanying analysis of school contracts to evaluate SLP and SLPA provisions may also be helpful. Thank you for your time, and I would appreciate any input as I move forward.